This episode is sponsored by Stingray Tattoo Supply. Take your shop to the next level with our premium hydraulic barber chairs built for comfort, durability, and smooth performance. Perfect for barbers and tattoo artists who demand the best. Sleek, sturdy, professional. Get yours today at stingraytattoo.net. This is the chairman and the artist, where vision meets creation. Let's talk. Yeah, we're back. This is the chairman and the artist. Today, I'm the chairman. The artist is home doing some work, catching up on some projects. Today, I'm hanging out over here at Tidal Wave Tattoo. I'm gonna introduce to you Mr. Alex. Alex is a tattoo artist who started tattooing over here at Tidal Wave Tattoo a little while ago. I don't know how long you been tattooing over here, Alex.
I'm 2.5 years right now, just about. Yeah.
So about 2.5 years, I'm introducing Alex. He's been tattooing at Tidal Wave Tattoo at 2.5 years. Tidal Wave Tattoo is over here in Sparks, Nevada, on Ari Boulevard, owned by JM. For those of you that don't know JM, he's Filipino owned. In case you guys want to know the ethnicity of the owner. Anyway. How was what you guys what happened this weekend? Tell me about you guys went to a convention. Let's hear about the convention.
Yeah, this weekend we went to a brand new convention. I believe it was the first time they'd done it. It was the Twisted Gold convention. Shout out Twisted Gold. It was really fun. We went down to Winnemucca. It was a 2-day event, Friday and Saturday, and it was really awesome. They had a huge turnout. They were super welcoming, super friendly. Winnemucca knows how to get down.
Who anybody, any big companies, anybody that you recognize, or anybody hanging out at the convention that we might know?
Maybe I can't remember any names off the top of my head, but there was a lot of Reno tattoo shops there representing Reno, Carson City. Some shops were from Sacramento, some local shops. Solon Clothing Company was there. Solon was really cool.
As you can see, he's also jerking off over there. Watch your hand, homie. When you're on podcast, you gotta see what you're rubbing.
Shit.
I'm gonna have to edit that area.
I was rubbing my pants. I was nervous. All right.
I just let you know, we already done that myself, and I'm like,
okay.
the fuck am I doing?
Okay,
So
my bad.
podcast, right. Maybe keep your hands. We start fidgeting and doing shit like that, and people say, "Is he jerking off?" But it does happen, okay?
Okay, I was not joking.
We may have to edit that part out again.
I promise, I was not joking.
Well, those are the kind of rules that I'm finding as at least I can kind of look at the fucking thing. But
Exactly,
imagine
I didn't even notice
if you're
that.
doing a podcast and these fuckers are not letting you know that you over there twitching your hand
Scratching my
or
balls.
doing something. Anyway, so the convention, who all went? How many of the guys in the shop went?
So it was me, JM, Beto, Star, and Jesus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we had a little five-man team going down there.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
How was did everybody stay busy? How much?
Oh, yeah. First day, I feel like for me was, I can't speak for everybody. First day for me was all about, making money, making your quota. And then second day was just worrying about the competition, worrying about portraits and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
So you got into the competition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's a competitive type, just to let you guys know. In case you haven't noticed, right next to us, we have this guy, look, he's got one of these. And then on the other side, because he just can't wait to show off the kind of stuff that he brought home from the convention. Came back with Big Eagle, which is a Big Eagle booster, bro. It is, in a way. But sooner or later we go back. Oh, now I can't wait to do another one. Mm-hmm. But it's a good way. It's a good, you didn't just go and tattoo and make money. You went and also participated in the event. Those events require people like you. They require people to make the event more how can I say, more drama, more something to go for. Is a competition, So people that can go and compete and stuff like that. Those are the kind of little lights of the show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it was my second time competing. I entered one in a long time ago. That first one we went to.
The one in Laughlin, right?
Laughlin, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I entered one in. I remember I think I got like third place or something like that. And I just couldn't wait to try and go and enter more in and do stuff like that. It wasn't really about like, ego or like, oh, I gotta show everyone like that I'm the shit. It was more of just like, I just wanted like, just like anyone, I was just looking for like respect from my peers and stuff and from other artists around there, and I feel like I got that in tenfold. I got more than I could have imagined I could have gotten.
And sometimes respect,
awesome.
You want that acceptance from your peers, you want acceptance from others, and sometimes you gotta do it like, hey, look, I can compete. I'm willing to put my stuff out there. I'm not hiding it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Which that's a pretty good big deal when it comes to tattooing,
Exactly.
This is one of those art that you don't, when we're doing the art, unless you're doing it in a place where the person can't see it, you really can't hide it from the collector. They're constantly watching you as you're doing it. You're over there sweating bullets, trying to make sure you don't fuck up a line and this and that,
I can confirm, I was definitely sweating, especially for the first portrait I did of the day, but yeah, and another big thing is just putting on for the shop. I'm sure you can
What part of the body you do it?
Calf.
Oh,
calf
cool.
is the flattest part, just the most beautiful part of the body.
So that's a nicely stretched area.
It's amazing.
Great for portraits.
Yeah, no, thank you. I got to shout out Steven. I got to shout out Steven. He came in clutch and let me do that portrait on him super last minute.
Steven is a collector?
Yeah, Steven.
Oh, cool.
I'm forgetting his last name. Sorry, Steven. Star's boyfriend. He came in clutch.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't thank him enough because without him, I wouldn't have been able to enter in that dolly. I wouldn't have even been able to do it. So, yeah.
Well, entering those competitions, you gotta either intimidate your client. You gotta put your client into this trance like, we're gonna win. You're gonna go up there. You gotta find a client that is competitive. Which one is just getting tattooed because he's getting tattooed, and which one is getting tattooed because he wants an award-winning tattoo.
Exactly.
Getting those kind of people to participate is not an easy thing. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, trying to do that with a complete stranger that you meet that day. And not only are you going to get tattoos today, sir, but you also got to get up there and compete and show my work.
Yep.
And the client, you got 2 or 3 hours to motivate this motherfucker into thinking like, you got to get up there and fight for me. You better fucking show all these people what I just did on you and this and that.
Yeah.
So finding that kind of attitude, getting that kind of client is not an everyday thing in a convention.
No, and I got even luckier than that. Like I said, shout out Steven. He was like the opposite. He was like, he was the one that was saying, we're gonna win this, dude. Like, this thing is so sick. Like, I'm so excited.
But that's so cool.
He went up there. I didn't even have to ask him to fight for it. He went up there. He put on.
I had in the past, I enter a couple of my pieces into competition, but it's also really cool when the client comes up and says, hey, bro, we're gonna enter the next convention. It's coming to town. He feels worthy of his art. He feels confident that whatever we done on him or the subject that I tattooed on him, he wants to put it out there and compete with others and stuff like that. So when you get those kind of clients, it's fucking pretty cool because those are the ones that, how can I say, give our portfolio, put us in another level in a way for those of us that, want to charge a little more money or you want to claim, I'm an award-winning artist, Award-winning artists usually ask for more money or stuff like that, Or the opposite. You also have to deal with the conspiracy theories. The bullshit, how come he won and all that shit.
Yeah, no, luckily I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, but you'll hear it later.
Maybe I just didn't hear it, but everyone there was.
But in the
amazing.
meantime, enjoy the trophies. Enjoy the little, what we call it, rock stardom. Yeah, that fucker's a rock star right now.
I felt like a rock star. I'd be lying if I didn't say I felt like a rock star.
Yeah, it feels hella cool, and also it's kind of like, it's just like the same kid that goes out there and kicks ass on a BMX or whatever and does something against his adversaries or other people that have been working alongside of him. They started at the same time and shit like that. You know, it also puts you in a community level. You know, how do I stand against the other guys in town? You know, because a lot of times we may just see stuff on online, this and that. And there's other guys that probably do a lot better work and this and that. But did they go and compete at that place? Did they participate? You know, and that's the thing. It's going that whole fucking all the way to that limit.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. Yes,
it's
sir.
not just, you know, there's other pieces that are done everywhere and anywhere but did they get up on stage?
That's
you know,
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like going to an event where you see the wet t-shirt contest and this and that, and Becky's over there complaining, I could have won. You never got on stage.
Exactly.
How could you?
Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I remember saying
you know
that
what I'm
this
saying?
weekend too. Yeah.
So, you know, but there's always on the winning side, you got all the cool, it's awesome. You get a lot of praise, a lot of fun stuff. On the losing side, you get a lot of whining and crying and bullshitting and reasons why you should or shouldn't done that or why you won. It's part of the drama and it's hella fun. Believe it or not, it's hella fun. I mean, it's cool to come back to the shop and hear even that drama going on. It's like, oh, this will wear out, but at the same time, oh, this guy's came back with a good drama coming back from a show. You know?
No, yeah, I get that for sure. I got lucky. Everyone was super cool. Like, if anything, it felt really like humbling and honoring to go against like some of the tattoos that I went up against. They were really well done, really great tattoos that, you know, I wasn't even like very confident. I was like, with the first portrait competition, I felt about like 50% confident that I was gonna probably win it, and that was beforehand. And then they showed the tattoos, and I dropped down to about 25%. Shout out to the artists that entered in that competition. There was some beautiful work that I was, you know, stunned to look at, and I'm very honored to have competed against, and, you know, taken home the win. And then for best of the day, that one totally caught me off guard. I had already finished up the day. I felt like I was cool with just the first, you know, trophy.
What you do on that one?
For best of the day, I won Dolly with the Dolly portrait, the Salvador Dali. You guys can see that on my Instagram. And then for best portrait of the day, I won with the Catwoman portrait that I did on my sister. You can check that one out on Instagram as well. But it was just weird because I entered in both portraits for best portrait, and Catwoman won. And so I thought if I had a chance to win best of the day, it was going to be with Catwoman. But no, I entered in best of the day, and then I was just sitting, hanging out with the guys, you know, just chilling out, ready to start packing things up, and I heard Steven's name get called up.
So that's how you know the judges were smoking a lot of weed.
Maybe. I don't know, because what I think happened was...
the theory's already started.
What I think happened is it just, there was 3 judges for the best portrait of the day, and then best of the day has 4 judges, so you never know, that 4th judge could have made all the difference in the world, you know, and... They shout out to the judges too. They were awesome, super, super cool, and I really loved, you know, the way they judged. And
Winnemucca's a little tiny town, and you guys had a good turnout.
Very good turnout.
Damn, everybody was busy. That's what I'm hearing from the other guys.
It was very busy. I mean, I can't speak for every shop,
got
obviously.
to tattoo. I mean, it's nice when the whole cruise is done 2 or 3 tattoos or even more.
Oh yeah, I mean, by the end of the first night, I was dead. I was so tired already. I felt like I had gone to war by the first night. And then I knew I still had a second day ahead of me tomorrow. But like I said, second day was purely focused on competition and just trying to win something. First day, made my money. And I made my money pretty good in the first day to where I didn't have any like worries or anything about like, oh man, should I go make money or should I enter in the competition? I didn't have any doubt in my mind that I wanted to enter and I wanted to.
So you're a competitive fucker, huh?
100%, yeah. And it wasn't just for me. I want to put on for the shop and everybody.
Are you gonna compete also when it comes to the MMA?
Oh.
This fucker's. What are you training right now? What do you?
I haven't trained in a while actually, but I was training Muay Thai a little bit over at Reno Fight Club. Shout out Reno Fight Club. Coach Zach Brunel.
I thought we were gonna see this fucker, you know, getting ready to go in a ring because he does have a competitive edge to him. Yeah. He's already wants to outdo me on fishing and this and that. But he's catching fish, you know. He's doing. Where you been fishing lately?
I haven't been fishing since summer, but now that it's getting warm again, I'm ready. I drove past some really nice fishing spots on my way to Winnemucca. I was thinking about that. But going back to like the Muay Thai thing, like you know how it is as a tattoo artist. Like we're not known for taking care of ourselves the best. We're definitely not vegans. Like
Well,
and all
that's
this
why you
shit.
need to do
And
competitive stuff. You know,
exactly.
you can stay in health and also do tattooing. You know, you can going fishing. That's a good day's workout. You know, you're out there throwing the line constantly, walking up and down the beach, going up and down, hiking down whatever lakes or whatever. You know, and getting the fuck away from the craziness
what I
of
do.
the shop and stuff like that. And so fishing, and there's room for competition in fishing. Every time me and my brother went, we competed. Let's see who wins, who catches the first fish, who catches the biggest fish.
Yeah.
We would compete on, you're gonna buy lunch. On the second one, who's gonna buy the beer. For everything we competed.
Yeah,
And
100%.
and at the end of the day, one of us is buying another one of the thing. The other one's making fun of, yeah, you suck, bro. I told you can't even. Dude, it's like 3 hours later, you finally caught one. But it's so fun to have that friendly competition
Yeah.
or even that mean competition, because my brother, sometimes, all right, fucker, I'll show you. So I wouldn't do it. I get too lazy sometimes. I smoke so much weed, I get lazy. I'm like, fuck this. I'm kicking it back now.
Yeah,
But,
it's time to just chill.
my brother is the opposite of me. He's hella competitive, and that's good that you're competitive, homie.
Oh yeah.
A lot of this tattooing, there's a lot of room for ego. There's a lot of room for competition. And sometimes, just like anything, the better you feel, the better you are, the more confident you can feel about charging your prices or charging somebody, hey, I charge this much. Because you also feel like, hey, I have people told me that I'm good and I shouldn't let my work, doing charging apprentice rates and stuff. And you feel like you're still kind of an apprentice and you're already competing,
Yeah, I definitely still feel like an apprentice, but not in a bad way. I think I just still have so much room to grow. Like I said, 2.5 years in, I don't think I'm anywhere close to where I want to be. And then going back to being competitive, I've always been competitive with anything I do. Going back to past hobbies like skateboarding and stuff.
I feel confident to compete way past my 3 years. Before 3 years of my tattooing career, I would not feel in any way close to want to compete my artwork with others. I was always shy. I was always scared. So it takes a certain person to do that. The other thing, the people that went and competed, because they wanted to represent and show off their work, and they had a competitive bone in their body. So that was pretty cool. Those who went and competed for me and went up there and showed off my work and stuff like that. And but I always just done this just for the fun of it, But there's room for competition. There's room for learning. There's room for somebody to become a specialist. I only do this. I only do that. I think you're finding out right now that traditional is not. It's there, but you got other talents.
Yeah. You know this story. I came into the tattoo shop only wanting to do American traditional, but that's just not how it kind of played out, I guess. I just got pushed to my limits. I got pushed to try everything and anything. If you want to make it in like a town like Reno, I don't think you can just fully specialize in one thing right off the bat in your career. I think you have to go through like the trials and tribulations of all these different styles and fucking shit up and killing stuff out of nowhere when you didn't expect it. And then that's just the way it is. And maybe after a while you can get to that point where you can just work on your style and your specific like specialty. But I don't think that comes super quick. I think you're lucky if that happens like within like the first 5 to 10 years of your career.
Yeah, and when it comes to like styles, it's hard to stay with one style. It's hard to stay with and you can learn so much from other styles also. And as you learn this other style, you're like, oh, I can apply this to this. I can apply this to that. I wouldn't learn it if I wouldn't tried it this way.
Yeah.
And stuff like that,
Yep.
And so A lot of the traditional work, people sometimes don't understand. There's a lot of smooth shading in some of this work and this and that. It's all about how the client or the artist are trying to express their work or trying to accomplish with their work. Everybody has a different accomplishment. The client also has a different point of view of how he wants to look or what he wants to see himself in the future, or how he just dealing with his fucking addiction to the ink, and the pieces coming together on him little by little, and stuff like that.
Yep. And speaking on styles, like I think styles are just that. I think they're just styles. I think if you have your base down for your line work, your shading, color packing, and kind of that understanding of color theory and stuff, styles are just a combination of all those things. American traditional is just clean, bold lines with some nice fucking solid shading coming out, and you can apply that to any other tattoo. Portraits have solid black, all that kind of stuff.
We're taking a small break right now.
Welcome to Graffiti City, your one-stop shop for graffiti supplies. From spray paint to markers, caps, and merch, we've got it all. Let's get creative. GraffitiCityNV.com.
This CBD-infused cream provides targeted comfort with a zesty, refreshing scent. Find your relief today at ktapothecary.com.
We are back. This is Rafael from the chairman after that quick commercial. Anyway, we were talking about styles and stuff like that. But in the world of art, most of us are dedicated to a style. Most of us are pushing to a style. And when you come into the tattoo world, it's depending. If you can live in a big city, you might be able to become a one style person, but a small town, a small city, it's very hard to do that, I believe, And also, I think doing all different styles, it gives you the opportunity to open your artistic abilities, or try different things, So that way you can even appreciate an art that you thought it was something simple or generic. You're like, oh shit, this does have its talent. It does have its its triumphs and shit like that.
Yeah, 100%. Like with like how people say American traditional looks like cartoons. I just want to say tattoos and traditional was around before cartoons. So whoever says that.
Well, yeah, and actually, they were also given a limited amount of tools. There were actually also a limited amount of tattoo artists, and some of them have different ways, different talent, and depending on the area where you lived or you worked, you could draw something that relates to the area, and sometimes people don't want big, intricate stuff. Sometimes just a cool cartoonish symbol, design, or something, that they went through and said, hey, can you draw something like this? And if you were a custom artist and also you could draw that traditional style, you can draw it real kind of quick, and also there's creativity behind it, and then the client would end up with a really cool original piece, And but every part of the world, we have evolved in all different manners, all different ways, Tattooing is something we'll never master. It's just a fucking big monster that we keep chasing. That we think once you think you mastered it, you look in the mirror and you're like, maybe not, and you get back on the work, and shit like that, So. And it's just a cool ass fucking never ending supply of ideas. The clients come in with all kinds of crazy ideas, wicked ideas. They also got all this trendy shit that they follow. Monkey see, monkey do. This guy does that. The other motherfuckers want to do the same shit. But it's pretty interesting, it's something that I enjoy a lot. That's why I think I can never get tired of tattoos. I'm trying to retire from it, but it ain't fucking easy, you know. And that's why I'm doing the podcast and the chair stuff, you know. And we need to plug in your Instagram. What's your Instagram? Let people know where they can find you on your Instagram.
So
let people know where they can find you tattooing right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So my Instagram is Meza Tattoos, Meza Tattoos. I'm located here in Reno, like you said, Tidal Wave Tattoo. You guys can always get at me through DMs for any of your tattoo needs or anything else. I don't just do tattoos. I do painting. I engrave mirrors. A lot of cool stuff, you know.
And you guys do art shows here too. You did an art show a little while ago.
Mm-hmm. Usually around Halloween.
Is there any conventions coming up that you're gonna be participating next or?
Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure, but I was told that we'll be working Lady Luck Tattoo. With
Bert might have room for us. I might end up going to Sacramento myself.
Yeah.
I want to get out of town.
I think I'm also going to start looking into maybe traveling to some tattoo shows on my own, you know, trying to do all that stuff. Now that I kind of got it figured out with Jay, I was kind of there for the process of him, like, you know, setting us up for this tattoo convention and stuff. I feel like I learned a lot. So I might even be able to go to some of my own or travel and do some stuff like that, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, there's a lot behind. There is a lot of planning behind a convention.
Yeah.
And when you go to a tattoo convention with the rest of your buddies, you get to learn how to work even tighter, get along or whatever. You guys might come back with, I'll never go with that motherfucker again. He fucking stinks. His feet stinks or he snores all night or... You know, when you work in an environment, but when you're traveling 10, 12 hours to the next convention or 30 hours to the next convention, you're fucking sleeping and snoring with these motherfuckers on a long-ass road trip. So a road trip can keep the band together or sometimes break up the band, you know, or sometimes we all learn from our mistakes that we can't wait to come back and correct them. And, you know, because we're trying to present the shop, we're trying to represent our company and stuff, and we don't want to look mediocre. We don't want to look unprofessional and shit like that.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
No, I think we're really good about that. I think we worked together as a team really well this weekend, motivated each other, like you said, that friendly competition and everything like that. I think we showed out, and it was a really good weekend. Definitely.
Oh, that's cool, man. I'm glad you guys have fun. You know, we're going to close it out. Most of the time I close it out with some questions. And one that some people can argue or not argue is, have you had any experience with either ghost or aliens? Or which one do you believe in?
I believe in both, and I definitely had my fair share of ghostly experiences. My family can attest to this one. My house that I grew up in I'm pretty sure it was haunted. I would say like 99.9% haunted. I remember one vivid memory where like I was having like so many encounters and stuff. My mom contacted like these Mexican like fucking voodoo people that came through and staged the house. They played like a guitar and did a bunch of crazy stuff, and you know, I think even if my parents were on it and believing it, then I'm pretty sure something must have been going on.
Damn.
Yeah. My little sister would like talk to like a friend, like a invisible friend and stuff like that, and it was weird.
Yeah, you know you're fucked up when you're still talking to your fucking your imaginary friend and you're in your 30s.
Yeah, she was 23.
Maybe this ghost never left, you know.
It might be something else at that point. No, but yeah, I definitely believe
so
both.
the spirit world is real for you.
100%.
That's good.
No
That's
that
good.
Can't be.
That's the kind of questions that I want to know, because you never know whether it's a cool hidden story or somebody really had an experience and the world needs to know about this, you know. Maybe you might have the right ghost that we need for the next collection in that fucking movie, The 13 Ghosts, you know. We can set the hunters to go get them.
Yeah, I love that stuff,
you know?
Man.
You seen that movie, right?
Yeah,
it's fucking
scary
trippy.
stuff, like anything like requiring ghosts, like going to Virginia City and stuff like that. I love that stuff, man. Ouija boards, all that shit.
Man, next time we go to fucking Vegas together, we need to stop at that clown motel.
Oh, yeah.
I want to smoke a joint at that fucking cemetery at midnight.
I think I'd be down. Most certainly.
You ever go visit the cemeteries at night?
I've been to some here in town at night. Never the ghost town one over there.
Yeah.
That seems a little spooky, but I'd be down.
Yeah, cemeteries are a pretty frequent place that you can run into people in the middle of the night. People seek peace from people, or people just like to go and see if they can, stay connected with somebody that they miss, or, that's the only time they find peace or whatever,
Maybe, Yeah, definitely. You never know.
Well, you heard it, homies. He's got a little bit of a ghost story. So if anybody's looking for a ghost story guy or fishing expedition competition, motherfucker, go compete with this guy. He'll fucking make sure that he'll spike your drinks or something to cheat. We do everything and anything when it comes to competition. It's all fair game until we get caught.
Yep, exactly. I'm more of a lead weights in my fish kind of guy.
All right, and you guys have a nice one. Thank you to Tideway for letting me do this quick podcast and inside the shop in the middle of the day, interrupting everybody's walk-ins and shit like that. But we figured it out. We're number 11. Exactly. Hopefully tomorrow is number 12.
Exactly.
You guys have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you again, Raph. I appreciate you for having me on.
All right, homie. Thank you.
Yes, sir.